Today, we're going to be ranking all of Beyblade X in Season 1.
First up is Strike Hawk on 480 low flat. The Hawk blade has some decent lines to it, and low flat gives it a nice, aggressive movement early in the match. It just lacks the overall weight to consistently pull off big bursts against the heavier Beyblades. It's a pretty safe B tier for me. Next, we have Stone Mountain 380 Needle. It's got a pretty rigid, solid shape that absorbs head-on hits well enough. The 380 Needle setup gives you a very standard stationary defense. It's nothing spectacular, but it's a reliable counter pick. Again, it's going to be put in B tier. Moving on to Drawn Sword 360 Flat. This is pretty much the classic attack blueprint for Beyblade X, and the 360 ratchet keeps it nice and low, and that flat bit just forces some insane extreme dashes in the stadium. Those big three-sided blades that you see deal some serious smash damage, easily securing its spot in S tier. Next is Hell Psi 460 Taper. This is probably one of the most reliable, well-balanced blades from the early wave. The design gives it great balance, and Taper provides a solid hybrid movement. It starts out aggressive to test the waters, then settles in the center for stamina. Easy A tier. Now for Wizard Arrow 480 Ball. Before Wizard Rod ruined the meta, this was a go-to for pure spin times. The ball bit keeps it very stable, but the blade itself is just too lightweight. It gets bullied out of the center pretty easily by heavier Beyblades, so it goes into B tier. Next up is Night Shield 380 Needle. It has a unique multi-layered defensive shape that diffuses hard hits really well. Even though the 80 height ratchet makes it a bit tall, the needle bit keeps it perfectly upright to deflect attackers straight into the pockets. Solid A tier. Up next is Cobalt Drake 460 Flat. This thing is remarkably heavy because of that metal coat that it has, which gives it a ton of defensive mass and heavy hitting power. The only reason it's not S tier is that the flat bit can burn through its stamina too fast if you miss that opening launch. It's going to be landing in A tier. Next up is Shark Edge 360 Low Flat. The jagged, upward sloping design on this blade acts like a mini buzzsaw. Pairing that low profile with low flat allows it to slide right under opponent ratchets for instant upper attack bursts. High risk and high reward. S tier. Moving on to Nightlance's 480 High Needle. Honestly, the height hurts it too much. High Needle raises the center of gravity a bit too much, making it pretty unstable. Instead of avoiding scrapes, it just ends up getting knocked off balance easily by good attackers. So it's going to be going into C tier. Now, we have Rhino Horn 380 Spike. This one's pretty bad, and most people in the community know that's really bad. Like, none of the parts are usable, and it has a tiny diameter, so it gets tossed around the stadium easily. The spike bit provides almost zero stabilization, meaning it usually tips over and scrapes after one decent collision. So it's going to be our first F tier Beyblade. Now for Viper Tail 580 Orb. The Orb bit gives it okay tilt endurance, but Viper Tail gets outclassed pretty hard these days. The downward blades don't really generate meaningful smash, and it just kind of gets passively knocked around, putting this one in C tier. Next we have Leon Claw 560 Point. Point bit actually gives the stock combo some nice versatility, and if you launch it hard, the outer flat ring grips the line for an attack, but if it wanders inward, the center tip takes over. The 560 ratchet keeps it stable, so it's going to be a solid A tier. Up next is Drawn Dagger 460 Rush. The Rush bit has fewer gear teeth, which gives Dagger a very controlled multi-hit playstyle. It kind of bounces around the stadium like a pinball instead of making one wild dash. It's good for wearing opponents down, making it a comfortable B tier. Next is Hell's Chain 560 High Taper. To be honest, it just doesn't feel as good as the original Side Beyblade. High Taper lifts it up just enough to expose that 560 ratchet to low undercuts. Blade tries to balance attack and defense, but it just feels a bit sluggish, so it's going to be a C tier Beyblade. Moving on to Phoenix Feather 360 Flat. It's a decent attacker that sits nicely in B tier. It's essentially a lighter, sleeker prototype version of Phoenix Wing. It moves well on flat and can catch people off guard with its speed, but the lower mass keeps it from climbing higher. Speaking of Phoenix, next is Phoenix Wing 960 Gear Flat. This has incredible weight distribution. That heavy painted metal ring delivers some really heavy hits, and the gear flat bit locks into the X-line cleanly, accelerating it to some terrifying speeds. Definitely a solid A tier. Next is Wyvern Gale 580 Gear Ball. This stock combo is just way too unstable. The gear ball causes it to drift wildly if it takes a bad hit, and the high recoil blade shape means it frequently flies out of bounds on its own momentum, dropping it to a D tier. Next up is Sphinx Cowl 980 Gear Needle. This is a decent defensive option. The Gear Needle bit lets it counterattack a little when it gets pushed to the ridge, and the 960 Ratchet gives it good burst resistance. It's a solid wall, but it bleeds stamina if it tips, so it's going to be a B tier Beyblade. Moving on to Unicorn Sting 560 Gear Point. The split design concept is cool, but the stock setup leaves a bit to be desired. Asymmetric blade means it hits differently depending on which side connects, making the recoil pretty unpredictable, sometimes hurting itself. So it's going to be a C tier Beyblade. Next up is Drawn Buster 160 XL. It's got that one massive protruding sword point on the blade. If you connect with that point during an XL boosted rush, the match is over instantly. It's got crazy one-hit KO potential, but if you miss, you lose momentum fast. So for that reason, I'm going to be putting it in A tier instead of S tier. Now for Wizard Rod 570 Disc Ball. This is easily the peak of stamina and the undisputed king of the current meta. S tier, no question. Our weight distribution is perfectly optimized, and the disc ball bit gives it an observed amount of life after death. Lasts everything. Next up is Hell's Hammer 370 Hexa. Hexa bit has a very unique wide base that gives a great grip on the stadium floor, meaning it resists knockouts well. Putting it in B tier, mostly because the 370 height can be awkward, leaving it open to low angle sweeps. Moving on to Keel Maguro 360 Low Flat. Riding that same low flat meta straight into S tier. This uses a modified shape focused entirely on heavy upper attack. Because it sits so low, like Shark Edge, it has a natural advantage against taller defense setups, flaming them into pockets. Next is the variant Leon Claw 560 Taper. Pushing this to a taper bit kind of ruins its identity. The stock setup just isn't cohesive enough. It loses the defensive safety of the point bit, but doesn't get fast enough to compete with real attackers. So it's going to be sitting in a solid C tier. Next up is Very Berry Cherry 580 Gear Ball. It looks amazing, but the performance just isn't there. Like Wyvern Gale, the Gearball stock combo on this weight distribution causes it to wobble heavily early on, which completely kills its stamina. For that reason, it's going to be a D tier. Moving along to Knife Shinobi 480 High Needle. This one gets burst or knocked off balance way too easily. The blade has a smooth look, but it lacks the weight to anchor itself. Combined with the high needle bit, it's an easy target for low attackers. D tier. Next is Tyranno Beat 470 Quake. Quake bit has that cut tip, making it jump around. It looks pretty fun and chaotic. It's just way too wild and inconsistent for competitive play. It ends up self-KOing or bursting itself half the time. Straight to F tier. Next up is Black Shell 460 Dot. Unfortunately, the dot bit doesn't give it the defense it needs. Black Shell was highly anticipated, but the stock combo scrapes the stadium floor way too easily, losing all its spin velocity almost immediately. It's an F tier Beyblade. Our second to last Beyblade is Weiss Tiger 360 Unite. The Unite bit offers a nice balance of plastic and rubber, wrapping up our B tier. It can aggressively ride the ridge or passively sit in the center depending on your launch angle. It's a decent jack-of-all-trades Beyblade. Finally, we have Cobalt Dragoon 260 Cyclone. First left-spinning Beyblade X. Because it spins in reverse, it creates massive smash collision impact forces when it hits right-spinning bays, which is basically all of Beyblade X. The Cyclone bit gives it an aggressive, unpredictable movement pattern, so it's going to close out our S tier. That's my complete ranking for all 30 Beyblades in Season 1 of Beyblade X, straight down the list. I appreciate you guys hanging out and watching my first tier list video. If you enjoy this video and the type of video, let me know down in the comments below. Tell me what you agree with or what you change. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you guys want to see more Beyblade X content. And I'll see you guys in the next one.